Welcome to the sew along for the Godiva Bodysuit. In my opinion, the most advanced sewing project in Sew Lingerie. It's a lot. But I'm going to break it all down for you from fabrics, trims, variations, tips, tricks, so that by the end of this sew along, you're going to say to yourself, I totally got this. Let's make another. Before we start sewing, there are 4 things that I want to go over. Number 1 is fabrics. Making sure that you have the right fabrics for the right pattern pieces. There's main fabric. There's combo fabric number 1, combo fabric number 2. Lining number 1, lining number 2. You might be reading the supply list and thinking, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? Don't worry, I'm going to break it all down for you. But also going over different fabric variations. There are lots of different panels for the Godiva, and that's what I like about the Godiva. But if you don't have combo fabric number 2, I don't want you to think, I can't make it. I don't have combo fabric number 2. I want to show you some different fabric variations so that if you don't have one fabric, there are some options for the Godiva so that you can still make it. Number 2 is elastics. Making sure that you have the right elastics, but also different elastics to achieve different levels of support. Number 3 is underwires. This sew along is not going to go over fits, but I think it's super important to make sure that you are using the right underwire for your size. Number 4 is a back band variation. If you're plus size, if you're full bust, you may be looking at the Godiva, which was designed to be backless, and think, I can't do it. I can't do it. It is not going to be supportive. My girl's going to be hanging out all over the place. Nope, not even going to go there. What is great about the Godiva is that the cups and the frame of the Godiva and the Ray are based off of each other. So you can use the back bands of the Ray on the Godiva so that you have that support. Again, I'm not going to go over pattern alterations. There's a whole section in the book, but this variation is not in the book, and I do want to go over it. So let's get into number 1 is fabric choices. First, let's go over fabric choices for the front frame and the bra cups. Then we'll move on to the back band and the panty. For center front frame D and side front frame E, the center front frame D calls for a combo fabric and lining fabric. If you want to use a combo fabric for the center front frame for little pop of color, color blocking, different patterns, absolutely you can. But for this sew along, I'll be using the same fabrics for both, which is a Lycra. For the center front lower cup A and the side front cup B, as well as the top cup C, I'm using a combo fabric, number 1, which is a non-stretch galloon lace. This one is an eyelash lace, so pretty. That same combo fabric is used for the center front lace panel top P, as well as the side lace panel top O. Now, if you, let's just say, you only have 2 yards or 1.5 yards or enough fabric to make it in for the bra cups only, the lace paneling adds a lot of yardage to the Godiva. I want to show you that you don't have to use it. Or maybe you have a fabric that's as gorgeous as these swans and you don't want to take away from it. This is a variation of the Godiva bodysuit that doesn't use the lace panels on the body, and I did want to give you that option. Okay, so now let's move on to the lining fabrics. So throughout the Godiva, you have 2 options for linings. One is a stretch option and one is a non-stretch option. So the stretch option is a stretch mesh. Obviously, you can see that it stretches. I suggest this for band sizes 28 to 34. If you are larger than a band size 34, you might want to use a power net. And then a non-stretch option, which is the sheer cup lining. No stretch, stretch. For the front frame, you want the center front frame to be lined with a non-stretch. Absolutely. For the side front frame, the book calls for a stretch. But if you are full bust, plus size, and you're used to having your frame completely stable, then definitely use the non-stretch lining. For the bra cups, the lower bra cups are lined, the upper bralette cups are unlined. Last thing about the lining is that for the center front frame and for the side frame, I spray basted the lining to the main fabric so that I can treat them as one. For the lower bralette cups, they are separate. The reason being is that we're going to use the clean finish method to clean finish the seam allowances inside the seam. You might be thinking you forgot to cut out the lining for this bra cup. No, I want to show you if you don't want to use a lining, like this Godiva has absolutely no lining in the lower cups or the upper cups. I want to show you that as an option. So if you don't want to use a lining for the bra cups, you want to have a super sheer lining, I want to show you that construction. Now let's move on to the back band pattern piece I. Much easier to understand because it's just one pattern piece and it just uses one fabric, which is the combo fabric number 2. Now, if you want to use your main fabric, or in this case, I use the main fabric and combo fabric number 1 for both the front frame and the side frame, you can. You just want to make sure that the back band stretches. So if you want all 3 of these to match, you can. Now let's move on to the panty. There is a center front panty F and the panty side panel G. Just like the front frame, the center front panty can use combo fabric or main fabric. It just depends on whether you want the center front panty and the side front panel to be the same fabrics or a different fabric. So for both of them, either going to use your combo fabric number 2 or your main fabric. For the lace panels, you can have them be the same fabric as the combo fabric that's in the bra cups, or you can just not use them at all. So going back to that Godiva bodysuit that I used in the example before, we didn't use any lace paneling on any of the front frame or the panty portion. For the lining, 110% you want to use a stretch fabric. You can use a standard stretch mesh, which is standard for all sizes, or you can use a power knit if you want a little bit more support in the tummy area. Last is the gusset, which is L, and that's just a cotton jersey. Now let's move on to the back panty. So for center back panty H, you can use a combo fabric or you can use your main fabric if you want your entire bodysuit, all of the fabrics to match. You can use one layer of your main fabric or you can line it with a stretch mesh or you can just use one layer of your combo fabric. Again, Godiva bodysuit, lots of different variations and options. Moving on to elastics. 2 elastics that have pattern pieces are band elastic J. This is used for the waistband on the Godiva, and the shoulder strap elastic K, which is 2. For elastics that don't have a pattern piece, there is shoulder strap elastic. You can use 1/2 inch, or you can use 3/4 depending on what type of support that you want. There is fold over elastic, which is just elastic that's, folds over in the center. You can use 5/8 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch when folded. Another option is to use a wider fold over elastic. We have a 3/4 of an inch that we use for more support. Then you have your underwire channeling. Your rings and sliders, which your rings and sliders should match the width of your strap elastic. If you are making the variation with the back band, you will also want a hook and eye. Another thing that I wanted to call out, which is a really pretty variation, is that on this Godiva bodysuit, we actually use the fold over elastic, the 3/8 of an inch, as the underwire channeling and the boning channels for the front frame as well as the panty. If you are full bust or plus size, I suggest using the underwire channeling definitely for the underwire. It is more supportive than fold over elastic, but you can use the fold over elastic on the paneling for the front frame and the panty just to give a really nice appearance. Let me show you a little close up. The fold over elastic that we use is like really shiny. It looks like a shiny, really nice grosgrain versus the channeling that is matte or plush. So just giving you options, but the fold over elastic definitely just looks a little bit nicer. But the underwire channeling does not look bad. Last thing that you'll need is plastic boning, and this goes in the channeling or fold over elastic on the bodice as well as the panty portion. Another variation is that you don't have to use boning in the channeling for the front bodice or the panties. As you can see here, we actually didn't use it. Maybe it's for medical reasons, maybe it's for comfort. You don't want the boning in there. So if you don't have plastic boning, you can't get it, or for whatever reason, don't feel that you need to use it in order to make the Godiva. Now let's go over choosing the right underwire for your size. I have center front frame D as well as side front frame E. I marked 1/2 of an inch on the side front frame. I'm going to overlap the center front frame because the seam allowances are 1/4 of an inch. Then I'm going to lay my underwire down. I am using a classic underwire from Madeline.com. You might be using a different underwire from a different vendor, but I want to call out that your underwire should match your frame. So I'm going to lay the underwire over the pattern, making sure that it's sitting inside about 3/8 of an inch, because you have 1/4 of an inch for your seam allowances where the wire seam line is, and your underwire will sit right below that. If your underwire does not match your wire seam line, taking into account playroom as well as wire spring, please check out the section that goes over how to adjust your pattern for different underwires. Super, super, super important. Again, I'm not going to get into detailed pattern alterations because it's in the book. Last thing I want to go over is a back band variation. The Godiva was designed to be backless, but I know that there are plus size and full bust that think I can't do backless. And I don't want you to feel discouraged that you can't make the Godiva, you can't wear the Godiva because it is backless. So the great thing about the Godiva is that it is based off of the Ray, which is the classic underwire bra in Sew Lingerie. So you can use the back band pattern of the Ray for the Godiva bodysuit. To do this variation, cut out the back band of your Ray bra, back band F. Now, as you can see, if you try to sew it onto the side front frame of the Godiva, it's way too short. But you can use this as a base to create a pattern piece that will fit. So if I lay this over or underneath the side frame, I use that as a base. So I just made a pattern piece that extended all the way down to the bottom edge of the side front frame. So here is the Ray back band, and then here is the modified back band for a hook and eye closure for the Godiva. If I lay one over the other, it is exactly the same. The only difference is that the modified or the new back band pattern for the Godiva is longer so that it will fit into the side frame. Okay, so now let's start sewing. If you are using the lace panels, the first step is to sew them down. You are going to use a zigzag stitch and you are going to go along the perimeter of the scallop lace, galloon lace, eyelash lace. So you are going to go around each curve, put your needle down in the low point of the scallop. There's the high point of the scallop and then the low point of the scallop. And then pivot and go along that curve again to the other low point of the scallop. Put your needle down, pivot, and then go along the curve. And continue to do that for all the lace pieces. I sewed down the lace panels, so this is where you should be at the end of this video. You can see the little zigzag stitch that goes along the perimeter of the lace. Can't really see it on the face side or the main right side of the fabric, but you can definitely see it on the lining side. Now, I know there was a lot with cutting out and what fabrics you should have for what pattern pieces. So the sewing in this video, really simple. In the next video, we will get into the nitty-gritty bra making bodysuit sewing.